ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जयो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री राधा गोविंद की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Today is the lesson 5, the independent nature of pure devotional service, which covers the chapters 3, 4 and 5. Please take the book which you have. Take out the book. This book is a textbook for us. In the book, the chapter 3 is named as eligibility of the candidate for accepting devotional service. So this is the beginning of today's chapter. Here, the independent nature, why this topic is named as independent nature means the devotional service is independent of all other processes. And the person who is performing devotional service, he will not even care for the mukti or liberation. The person is performing devotion only for pleasing Krishna. What we studied in the last class, that is lesson number 4, defined and explained the process of sadhana bhakti with reference to analogies and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Sanskrit verses. That is, what is sadhana bhakti? When a person is performing devotional service under the guidance of a spiritual master with the rules and regulations for the instructions for following the instructions of spiritual master, it is called as Vaidhi Bhakti. The person may or may not have very much interest or the love for performing the devotional service, the attachment, it may not be there. Only for the sake of rules and regulations that are told by the spiritual master. There is firm faith in the words of spiritual master, that Shraddha is there. Because of that, the person is beginning with the devotional service. So it is a sadhana bhakti which begins, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. Then explain the distinction between Vaidhi and Raganuga sadhana bhakti. When we continue to perform the Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, when the anartha nivritti happens. That means when we give up all the unwanted things. Anartha, that means which is meaningless. Artha means meaning. Meaningless activities like the addictions, they are meaningless, useless. They only bring problems. They give trouble to the body, trouble to the mind. It will spoil the relations. So this is an anartha, which is useless. So such things, whatever we have, the four anarthas, major four anarthas, yutam, panam, striyasuna, these things has to be given up. And the subtle anarthas, the mana, puja, pratishtha, all these things has to be given up. So that is the, when we cross this anartha nivritti stage, person can come to the raganuga sadhana bhakti, where there is spontaneous devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then also discuss the qualification for practicing devotional service in relation to Prabhupada's mood and mission. Continuing to today's class, the eligibility of the candidate for accepting devotional service. This is in the chapter number 3 in our textbook, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. What is the eligibility? What is the pre-qualification for a person to begin devotional service? Ya kenapi atibhagyena jata shraddhos swasevaye nati sakto na vairagya bhag asyam adhikari asau. Ye kenapi atibhagyena, one who is very fortunate. The person who has developed faith in serving the Lord by impressions arising from previous association with devotees, who is not too attached to material objects and who is not too detached, is qualified for Vaidhi Bhakti. This is the shloka from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu itself, 1 to 14. So here, two words are very important. One is na ati asakto and na vairagya bhag. One who is not too attached to the material things, and also one who is not too detached also. Both should be there. That person is qualified for performing devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, what is this na asakto na vairagya? So neither one should have asakti nor he should have vairagya. This means that the person should use everything, whatever possible, in the service of the Lord. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu itself, it is told, Anasaktasya vishayan yatharham upayunjataha nirbandha krishna sambandhe yukta vairagyam uchyate. That means whatever we have, the facility, if we are using for the service of the Lord, anasaktas, without having any personal motive, without having any plan for sense gratification, if we are using it for the service of the Lord, then it is called as yukta vairagya. Anasakta vishayan yatarham upayunjataha. Wherever it is possible, there we should use it in the service of the Lord. Nirbandha krishna sambandhe yukta vairagyam uchyate. Use it in the sambandha of Krishna, in relation to Krishna. If we are doing this, then that is called yukta vairagya. What is the example? This itself, the computer or mobile, the internet, whatever we are having. These all are material objects. They are not meant for performing our Bhakti Shastri course. The person who has designed this or programmed this Zoom, he may not have thought people will do the Bhakti Shastri course later, so I have to design this. That plan may not be there. But we are using it for good purpose. We have internet, we can use the Zoom, the YouTube lectures we can hear and understand the classes. And Prabhupada, he called the printing press as Brihad Mridanga. Brihad Mridanga means, Mridanga, if you beat the Mridanga during Kirtan, it will be audible to 100 or 200 meters only. But if you are printing the words of Acharya in the books, and if you are distributing it, it can go to the entire world. That Shabda, which is present in the book. So what we have in our hand, this is also a Brihad Mridanga. It's a product of Brihad Mridanga. Now the printing press is not a spiritual thing as such. If you see, why printing press is there? Printing press, they use it for printing new magazines or newspapers or mundane books. All these things, they have different business. But if you are using it for printing Krishna's message, then it is a perfect utility of all these objects, whatever we have. Even Prabhupada, when he saw the truck, the flat truck in the Western countries, he used it for book distribution van, or he used it for Rath Yatra. So these are the possibilities. Now, if you don't use them, say, thinking that prapanchikataya buddhya harisambandhi vastunaha mumukshubhihi parityago vairagyam falgu katyate. So this is called falgu vairagya. If you are using it, then it is yukta vairagya. If you are not using it, it is called falgu vairagya. Falgu vairagya means what? I can use it in the service of Krishna, but still I think that it is all material. I don't want to use this. Now, if we don't print the books, how we can reach the people? Earlier, people used to be very intelligent. They are like Shrutidhara. If you hear once, it is for lifetime. There is no need to write down anything. For entire lifetime, they can remember it. But in Kali Yuga, Vyasadeva has written all the Vedas into paper or into the scriptures. He has written it. Why he has written? Because he knows Prayana Alpayusha Sabhya Kalavasmini Jana Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Upadrutaha. These Kali Yuga people cannot remember, so they need a book for reading. Now these books, if you want to make a copy for writing, how much time it will take for each copy? If we say like, okay, we start Bhakti Shastri course, now all of you start writing Bhagavad Gita and make one copy of your own copy, then it will take at least 1 or 2 years to finish or even begin the Bhakti Shastri course. So that is not possible. And traveling, the vehicles should be used for service of Krishna, because we have to reach the people. Walking, that is called the Tirtha Yatra. Walking also has its own benefit. When we are walking together with all the devotees doing kirtan and pastimes of the Lord, then we have very good association with each other. But at the same time, we have to use the modern facilities to reach out the people with a short period of time, so that we can propagate the message of God very fast. So everything is useful in the service of Krishna. So when a devotee sees at this material world, he will see everything as a means to service to Krishna. So that is what is explained here. Na ati asakto. That means don't use it for your sense gratification. Na vairagya. Don't give up thinking that it is material. If it is useful in Krishna's service, you must use it. Otherwise, it is falgu vairagya. Now, where do we get the mercy of Krishna or the devotion to Krishna? One is the mercy of devotee. If you see the shloka here, association with the devotees who is not too attached to material objects and who is not too detached is qualified for Vaidhi Bhakti. So mercy of the devotee, one who is not overly attached, not overly detached. This is the qualification for or the prerequisite for beginning the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Bhakti is available with a bhakta. If you want devotion, we have to take it from a bhakta or devotee. Only a devotee can give us devotion. Devotion will not come because of our austerity or penance or anything as such. The real devotion to Krishna will come only in the association of devotee. Otherwise, the penance will bring pride. pride and anger. If you see people who are have done a lot of tapasya, the dry tapasya, then they will be having a lot of anger. That leads to angry mood. But if they have the devotional motive towards the Lord, then they will be very peaceful, because they have dedicated their life, their all austerities, it is for pleasing Krishna. So because of that, the person's heart is very soft. Otherwise, the person will become very hard-hearted. The jnana, the karma and jnana, both give two opposite results. Karma will make us to attach to this material world, and jnana will help us to get detached. When we perform any activity, just say for example, you have done some wonderful job, you have successfully completed some project, there is some result. Now the person gets attached to it. He wants to say that I have done it, my name should be printed, or it should be mine. So when we work, when we do karma, there is attachment. And when we develop jnana, knowledge, it will make us to understand that whatever we can see in this material world, it is all temporary. It is not going to remain permanently. And whatever we are longing for, it is also temporary. If you see in our childhood, we were longing for something. And those things, now they are insignificant. There may be some toy or some balloon or some chocolate. How much the children will cry for it. They do so many drama. But now it is of no use. I'm not at all attached to them. But presently we are attached to something else. And those attachments also, in our old age, it is of no use. We don't feel any attachment for them. So this is all temporarily we are getting attached to so many material objects. And this material world also, it is a temporary place for us. Who can understand all these things? One who has developed the knowledge. Dehi nosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhirastatra namohyati. Just like the childhood, youth and old age comes, you will get another body. Why are you getting so much attached to this world? So this is the jnana. So when he develops this jnana, he will give up everything. That vairagya comes. Then the heart becomes very hard. He will not feel anything, any compassion for people who are attached and they are suffering, they are crying. He will just say, why are you crying so much? You should develop knowledge. So that compassion for the people will not be there when a person develops this knowledge. But bhakti, it will combine both. In bhakti, there is karma. In bhakti, there is jnana. But this karma, which we are performing, it is not attached, not giving any bondage. The karma which is performed in devotional service. And the jnana which is coming, because as a result of devotion to Krishna, it is not dry philosophy, or it will not make the person hard-hearted. Rather, it will increase his attachment to the Lord. The jnana, it is not only to know that I am not the body, it is also to know that I am the servant of Krishna. Only knowing that I am not this body, I am the spirit soul, it may bring very detached vairagya to a person. But when a person comes to know that, he is only knowing what he is not, but when he comes to know what he is, that is Jivera Swarupaya Krishnara Nityadasa. So I am a servant of Krishna, and serving Krishna is my duty. Then what Krishna likes, that becomes his like. So that is quite natural. Then the person will not become very hard-hearted. So karma and jnana both should be used in the service of Krishna. Then it is the proper utility. The eligibility for accepting devotional service is association of those devotees who are not overly attached, not overly detached. By their mercy, we can get the devotion to the Lord. the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anybody would like to read, they can raise their hand. Puja Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Eligibility of the candidate for accepting devotional service. On account of his association with Mahatmas or great souls, 100% in the devotional service of the Lord, one may attain a little bit of attraction to Sri Krishna, but at the same time may remain very much attached to the fruitive activities and material sense enjoyment. Such a person, if he has unflinching attraction to Krishna, becomes an eligible candidate for discharging devotional service. Nectar of Devotion, page 29. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So this third chapter in my book, it starts with page number 29. You all can check chapter 3, eligibility of the candidate for accepting devotional service. And this is the first paragraph of that chapter on account of his association with Mahatmas. Hope it is, you may have different number if it is 28 or 32. Some people, the new book may be 32. So accordingly, you have to change the numbers in whenever it is told. So if it is 29, it will be same as that of the PPT. And if you have any other number, the difference you have to add every time whenever you see the page number. Now, based on this, we can have three types of devotees. That is Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Kanishtadhikari. So what are the differences between these three? Uttamadhikari means he is a Mahabhagavata. He is the fully convinced, and his faith is very strong and nobody can shake his faith, and his knowledge is also perfect. He can also convince others about the devotional service. So we have to take the association of these people, Uttamadhikari. A Uttamadhikari, he can clear all our doubts in spiritual life. Whatever doubts we have, it all gets cleared because he has understood the tattva, the bhakti tattva completely. So there is no doubt remaining in his heart. He is perfectly performing devotional service to the Lord, and also his knowledge about the Lord is so perfect that he can convince others also into devotees. And these people, just by seeing them, the people come to Krishna consciousness. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whenever people saw the beautiful form of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, people used to fall at his feet and they were becoming devotees. So that is the power of a Uttamadhikari. An Uttamadhikari, one person can deliver the whole planet. He has so much of mercy from the Lord, and he can give it to everyone, and he can deliver. We can take the example of Srila Prabhupada himself. When people heard the one lecture of Srila Prabhupada, they immediately surrendered. And he has made 108 temples all over the world, and now it is increasing more and more. And they all have preaching now. Means this ISKCON is growing. So it is all because of one person, that is Srila Prabhupada. That is the power of a Uttamadhikari. Then coming to Madhyamadhikari, a Madhyamadhikari, he has full faith in Lord, and his devotion to Krishna is also perfect. But this Madhyamadhikari cannot always defeat opposing opinion. He himself is perfect in devotion, but he cannot convince others about the devotional service. So that is the Madhyamadhikari. Now Uttamadhikari, he thinks that everyone is a devotee. Except me, rest all are devotees. That is a mood of a Uttamadhikari. If you say Uttamadhikari, if somebody comes in front of him, he finds him the greatest devotee of Lord Krishna. Just like Radharani also says, I am not the devotee, you are the devotee. Anybody comes to Radharani, for serving Krishna, she will push them to serve Krishna. That's why when we pray to Radharani, it is easy to approach Krishna. So that is the Uttamadhikari. But Madhyamadhikari level, here the person is discriminating. Ishwareshu tadadineshu balisheshu dvishashucha prema maitri kripa upeksha ya karoti sa madhyama. That means there are 4 kinds of people which are discriminated by Madhyamadhikari. What it said, Ishwareshu tadadineshu balisheshu dvishashucha. These are the 4 people. Ishwara means the Lord himself. Tadadinesha means his devotees. Balisha means innocent people. And Dvisha means the people who are against the devotional principle. These are the 4 people. The Lord, his devotees, ignorant people, and those who are against the devotional principle. For these people, he has 4 kinds of dealings. Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha. Prema for the Lord, Maitri, friendship for the devotees, Kripa, that is mercy for the innocent people who are ignorant, and Upeksha, negligence, just neglect them, those who are not interested in the performance of devotional service. That is the Madhyamadhikari level, Madhyamadhikari state. Now, a preacher should be at the level of Uttamadhikari, but when he is preaching, he should come to the level of Madhyamadhikari. When a person is at the level of Uttamadhikari, he cannot preach because he cannot discriminate between the people, and he cannot understand who is a devotee, who is not a devotee. He will accept everyone as a devotee. But the Uttamadhikari, he should come to the level of Madhyamadhikari, and then he can preach the message of Godhead. And there is Kanishtadhikari. He has very weak faith, and he cannot offer any arguments. Anybody comes to him and asks some questions and gets confused, he will get confused and he will give up his devotion. That is the Kanishtadhikari, very weak faith. And this kind of people, they will see only the Lord, the Archa Vigraha to be the Lord. Where is God? God is in temple. That is the only answer they know. They don't find the Lord present in every person's heart, or they don't see the Lord everywhere. The Kanishtadhikari, they may not respect the devotees, or wholeheartedly they may not have any respect for devotees. For them, the only duty is just go there, go to the temple in front of the Lord, bow down, and that is my Lord. That's it. That is the Kanishtadhikari state. And that faith is very weak. Anybody can shake their faith, and the devotion to the Lord may get lost at any time. So to be on the safer side, one must at least come to the Madhyamadhikari level. When a person comes to Madhyama state, at least I am safe. I may not be able to give Krishna to others, but at least I am on the safer side. So one should try to come to the Madhyamadhikari level. Next, these Kanishta Adhikari, they can be classified further into 4 categories. That is given in Bhagavad Gita, the Artho, Jijñāsur, Artharthi, Jnanicha, Bharatarshava, Chaturvija, Bhajantema, Sukritino, Arjuna. So these are the 4 people who come to Krishna. They are Artho, Jijñāsur, Artharthi, Jnani. These are the Kanishta Adhikari. And after performing devotional service, they have advanced. But in the beginning stage, these are the 4 people, or these are the 4 reasons for a person to come to Krishna consciousness. And this is the beginning step. It begins with Kanishta. Artha, the example is Gajendra. We know the story. The crocodile was biting the leg of an elephant. The Indradyumna Maharaj was had taken the birth as a elephant, Gajendra, and at that painful situation, he cried for the Lord. And Artha we can also understand, whoever is in difficulty, he prays to Krishna, prays to God. Even atheist also, if you see, if there is no other means to escape or to save themselves, they also start praying. If there is God, please come and save me. Such kind of prayer they also do. That prayerful nature. If you see, whenever an aircraft is in danger and there is siren that aircraft may crash at any time, you just look inside the aircraft, what is happening? Everyone is holding their hands and praying. There is no other way. So there is, you cannot discriminate who is devotee, who is not devotee, who is atheist or who is theist. Everyone look like devotees only. So at that time, everyone becomes very conscious about the Lord. Oh Lord, if you are there, please come and save me. So that is Artha. In the very difficult situation, a person comes to remembers Lord and he tries to offer some prayers. And Jijnasu, the example is sages of Naimisharanya. That is headed by Shaunaka Rishi. They are inquiring from Suta Goswami. This is inquiry. Jijnasu, what is it? They are very curious to know what is Srimad Bhagavatam. They asked 6 questions to the Suta Goswami, and one among them is how the Dharma has taken shelter of whom? Krishna has ended his pastime. Now he has gone back. Dharma kam sharanam gataha. Dharma has whose shelter the Dharma has taken now. That time, Suta Goswami says, it is the Srimad Bhagavatam, Purana Arko Dhunoditaha. When Krishna ended his pastime, the Bhagavatam has come. This Bhagavatam is like the Purana Arka. Arka means the sun. It is like the sun among all the Puranas. Then the sages further ask, what is this Srimad Bhagavatam? Who has compiled it? So what is the story behind? Who gave the inspiration for Vyasadeva to write this literature? So all these questions come. These all are inquiry, curious to know. So by this inquiry, they will understand all the tattva, all the pastimes of the Lord. Then comes Artharthi, the person who is in need of money. This is applicable for almost everyone. The example is Maharaja Dhruva. Dhruva wanted a big kingdom. He tried to sit on his father's lap, Uttanapada, and his another wife did not allow, Suruchi. She had another son, and she had a son named Uttama. Uttama is Suruchi's son, and Dhruva is Suniti's son. Suniti and Suruchi are the wives of Uttanapada. Now, Dhruva wanted to sit on his father's lap, but Suruchi is telling, you have not taken birth from my womb. You have taken birth from Suniti's womb. So if you want to sit on your father's lap, then you should take birth from my womb. He's a small 5-year-old boy. He cannot understand all those things. But at least he had the desire to get the throne of his father. I want a bigger kingdom than my father. This is very quite common for children. Whenever they don't get anything, they become very adamant to get it. So he went to Suniti, and Suniti told him that the Lord is there. The sages, they worship him, and if you worship Lord, you will get everything. Then Dhruva asked, where is Lord? Then she says, sages, they worship him. They do the, at that time it was Satya Yuga. So Dhyana was the means to achieve the perfection in devotional, in the spiritual perfection. So he did Dhyana, and whenever the person is ready for taking the spirituality, the Lord sends him Guru, spiritual master. Spiritual master take us back to Krishna. So Krishna sends Guru, and Guru takes us to Krishna back. So like that, Narada Muni comes and he instructs Dhruva Maharaj. First he tests Dhruva Maharaj, then he instructs him. Then within a 6 months period, he comes to the perfection. That is Artharthi. Then Jnani, the 4 Kumaras, these are the people who came to Vaikuntha. And when they smelled the Tulasi, which was offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, they became devotees. They already had the knowledge, but that knowledge was impersonal knowledge. They had no the personal feature of the Lord was not known. It is also a pastime because they are all not like us. They are parampara acharyas. So they were playing a role of a impersonalist. So impersonal feature is like the Lord has no form. But when they came to Vaikuntha, they could see the Lord in front of them, and they could smell the tulsi leaf which was offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, because of which they became devotees. So these are the Artho, Jijnasur, Artharthi, Jnani. Now, if you see the result of this devotional service, whatever they have performed, what happened to Artha, Gajendra? He went back to Vaikuntha. The Lord personally came and delivered him. Jijnasu, Nemisharanya, sages, they also became perfect by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Similarly, Dhruva Maharaj, he went to Dhruvaloka. That means they also came to perfection. And 4 Kumaras, they also became devotees. So this is a beginning stage. The Kanishta can come to devotional service through any of this way. A person may be in very difficult situation in his life, or he may be having some inquisitiveness, or he is in difficulty for money or some wealth, or he may be already having the knowledge of the Lord and he wants to know more, or he wants to clarify all his doubts. So that is Jnani. Now, what is the requirement for a Artha, Jijnasur, Artharthi, Jnani to become a devotee? Because Artha means the person who is in difficulty. Everyone is in difficulty, but everyone will not come to God. Those who are in difficulty, some people go and become drunkards, or some people just go and hang and they commit suicide. So there are so many options. But why these people take to Krishna consciousness when they are in difficulty or when they are needing money? Why do they come to Krishna? This question will arise. That is because they have done some Ajnat Sukriti. Ajnat Sukriti means unknowingly performed some punya, the pious activity, which is taking them towards devotion. That is Bhakti Unmukha Sukriti. In the Sukriti or in the pious activity also, there are 2 types. One is Bhogonmukha Sukriti, other one is Bhakti Unmukha Sukriti. If we perform Bhakti Unmukha Sukriti, we will not have material possessions. If you see, there are so many great devotees. They were not very much wealthy, or they did not have so much of money. It doesn't mean that they have not done any pious activity. But the pious activity which they have performed, it is not Bhogonmukha, but it is Bhakti Unmukha, which will take them to Bhakti, devotion to Krishna. But if you are performing Bhogonmukha Sukriti, the person may be very rich. He may be having a lot of wealth in his life. So we can see, he must have done a lot of punya in his previous life. But there is no devotion. He is only enjoying it. So these are the 2 types of punya, Sukriti. Bhogonmukha Sukriti and Bhakti Unmukha Sukriti. Now, if we have this Bhakti Unmukha Sukriti, then one can come to Krishna consciousness. Either by Artha, Jijnasur, Artharthi or Jnani, he will come to Krishna consciousness. If you don't have this Bhakti Unmukha Sukriti, then the Artha may go to some addictions, or Jijnasu, he may go to a wrong person to inquiry, or Artharthi, he will try so many other means to get the money, or jnani, he may get misguided. All these things can happen. Then can we say that punya is the cause of bhakti? No. Punya is also not cause of bhakti, because bhakti is independent. Today's topic itself is independent nature of devotional service. So the bhakti, it is completely independent, and the Lord has given this bhakti in the hands of bhakta, the devotee. So what is the cause of our bhakti? It is only by the association of devotees. Why we get the bhakti unmukha sukriti? It is by the association of devotees. When we associate with devotees, what they do? There is bhajana kriya, and there is the prasadam they distribute, or they will give some service to us. Can you please come and do this service for the Lord? They will request. So we will do it. Then that comes to the bhakti unmukha sukriti. So this sukriti also, when we are having, it is a mercy of the devotee. If the devotee doesn't give the opportunity for serving the Lord, then there is no option for getting this bhakti unmukha sukriti also. So the root cause of our bhakti, devotion to the Lord, if we are performing something, it is because we have got it from other devotee. We have either in this life or in previous life or any other earlier life, we had association of devotees, somehow or other, knowingly or unknowingly. That's why we are doing the bhakti now. It is just like a person is infected with corona. The only reason is you have come in contact with a person who had corona. That's the only reason. Either directly or indirectly. Directly you might have come in contact, or you have come in contact with some objects which he had contact. Similarly, the bhakti also, knowingly or unknowingly, somehow we have come to the association of devotees, and because of their mercy, we have got this bhakti. So we have to distribute this bhakti more and more. We have, whatever we have taken, it is a mercy of a devotee. So that the mercy has to be distributed according to our capacity to everyone, so that everyone will become devotee, so that everyone will come to Krishna consciousness. That becomes our duty. Anu Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
From the classification of the neophyte, Nectar of Devotion, page 30 to 31. Such beginners can be elevated to the second class or first class platform if they associate with pure devotees. So that is the way of elevating oneself. In whatever condition one may be, if he is fortunate enough to associate with pure devotees, then very quickly he is elevated to the second class or first class platform. Nectar of Devotion, page 30. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Lata Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. A wise man who becomes attached to Krishna does not want any return from him, either in the form of relieving distress or in gaining money. That means from the very beginning, his basic principle of attachment to Krishna, more or less, is love. Nectar of Devotion.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I'm not able to see.
Yeah, that's all, Mataji.
Hare
Thank you.
Hare 31.
Yeah. So here, the devotee, devotion means there should not be any material motive. When Lord Narasimhadev asked Prahlad, I am very happy with you. Ask something, whatever you want. That time Prahlad says, oh Lord, I am not doing any business here. I have done devotion to you out of love. I can't ask you for anything else. That is the mood of a devotee. The devotee, he performs devotional service only out of love. He will not think that if I perform devotion, I may get money or my material problems will be solved. or I may get some siddhi, or like that. Such kind of any motive will not be there. I am performing devotional service only for showing the exchange of love with the Lord. It is my duty to perform devotional service because I am a servant of Lord. So that is the motive. Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Without being elevated to the position of jnani or wise man, one cannot stick to the principle of worshipping Supreme Personality of Godhead. It can be concluded that a person who is free from the bodily concept of life is an eligible candidate for pure devotional service. Nectar of Devotion, page 32. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. This is confirmed even in Bhagavad Gita also. The devotee who is the greatest among the four, it is the jnani. Jnani, he knows that who is Lord, and he is knowingly performing devotional service. So there is no question of giving up devotional service after some time, because artha, if a person comes to Krishna because of some material problem, when the problem is solved, he may go away. Jijnasu, if it is inquisitiveness, then if when the inquisitiveness is over, he may or may not take to Krishna. Or Jijnasu, artha, artharthi. For money, if you get money, you may go away. But jnani, one who knows who is Krishna, he will not go away. That is, jnani is the best among the four. Next, coming to chapter 4, devotional service surpass all liberation. This is in 37 in my page, my book. The devotional service surpass all liberation. This is beginning with the same concept, whatever told earlier. The devotee will not expect anything from the Lord. Pooja Mataji, you can read.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Vaikuntha to Krishna Loka. Some of the liberated persons who have achieved these 4 stages of liberation may also develop affection for Krishna and be promoted to the Goloka Vrindavan planet in the spiritual sky. In other words, those who are already promoted to the Vaikuntha planets and who possesses the 4 kinds of liberation may also sometimes develop affection for Krishna and become promoted to Krishna Loka. Nectar of Devotion, page 45. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. If you see the page number 45, the Nectar of Devotion, page, this chapter number 4. In my book, it is 45. Before speaking this, Prabhupada has explained the 4 types of liberation. The first one is the Samipya, Salokya, Sarupya, Sashti, and Sayujya. These are the 4 types of liberation. So to become one with the Lord, that is Sayujya. To live on the same planet as the Lord, Salokya. To obtain the same bodily features, Sarupya. And to have some same opulence as the Lord, Sashti. And to have constant association with the Lord. So these are the 5 types of liberation, that is including the Sayujya. To become one with the Lord, that is Brahma Jyoti, Sayujya. Other than that, there are 4 types of liberation. Generally, the devotees have aspiring for only 4 types of liberation. They will not become one with the Lord. That is the Brahman becoming one with the Brahma Jyoti. That is not recommended. So these are the 4 types. So some of the liberated persons who have achieved the 4 steps, 4 stages of liberation. That's why Prabhupada is telling here, even though there are 5, he's telling 4 stages of liberation. So here it is, out of these 5 liberation stages, the one which is known as Sayujya, or merge into the existence of the Lord, is the last to be accepted by a devotee. The other 4 liberations, although not desired by devotee, will still are not against the devotional ideas. So when a person has come to the Vaikuntha, he desires to go to Goloka. So in Vaikuntha we get these 4 kinds of liberation. But going to Krishna Loka, that is even higher than that. Because in Krishna Loka, we can have the higher rasa with the Lord. That is the Madhurya, Vatsalya, Sakhya. All these things are possible in the Goloka or Krishna Loka, not possible in Vaikuntha. Mataji.
Hare Krishna Guruji, Dandavat Pranam. Vaikuntha to Krishna Loka. Out of many kinds of devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the one who is attracted to the original form of the Lord, Krishna in Vrindavan, is considered to be the foremost, first-class devotee. Such a devotee is never attracted by the opulence of Vaikuntha or even of Dwarka, the royal city where Krishna ruled. The conclusion of Sri Rupa Goswami is that the devotees who are attracted by the pastimes of the Lord is Gokula or Vrindavan are the topmost devotees. Nectar of Devotion, page 46. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mother. So Krishna's, if you compare the Vaikuntha and Goloka, Goloka or Krishna Loka, that is the highest worship, and going to Goloka is the goal of each and every devotee. Now there is a group exercise independent of Uttama Bhakti. Read the pages 47, 48. This is from chapter 5. The chapter 5, it is talking about the purity of devotional service, where the person, it starts with the Bhakti is not dependent on good birth, the complete independent nature of the devotional service, 47 and 48. If you are not getting the page number, it is the first and second page of the 5th chapter. Chapter 5, first and second page, the purity of devotional service. Question is, what is Srila Rupa Goswami's principle regarding who can practice devotional service? So who can practice devotional service? There are many points are given. Can go through. So shall we make the breakout room? There are totally 9 people. So I'll just make 3 groups. There are 3 people in each group. Is that okay? You have 5 minutes for preparation and 2 minutes for presentation. Okay, Hare Krishna, welcome back to the discussion. Archana Mataji, you can start.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, there is no any particular limitation like country, class, society, or circumstance. Any person is eligible for doing the devotional service under any material condition. And he need not belong to a particular community, say Brahmana. He need not belong to a high class community. He can belong to any community, but if he is in pure mode of goodness, if he is in transcendently situated as Vaishnava, he is actually qualified. And he need not be a Brahmana all the time. He can be a Sudra also. But if he is wearing the tilak, if he is chanting the holy name, and if he is under the guidance of the spiritual master, he is definitely eligible for doing the devotional service, for practicing devotional service. And there is a analogy given, as the metal can be turned into gold by mixture of mercury. When a person is in association with spiritual master, he can be changed as a Vaishnava. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Pooja Mataji.
Yes, same thing, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
So the devotional service has no qualification is required for the devotional service. Anybody can come in this devotional service who is in the mode of goodness and who is transcendently pure and who is taking the guidance of best spiritual masters. Srila Rupa Goswami specifically mentions that every man has a birthright to accept devotional service and to become Krishna conscious. And for that, it is not required that he is supposed to be Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra. He can be anybody. And anybody can accept this devotional service. And for this, some examples are also, and it is given with the evidences of many scriptures from Padma Purana and from the Skanda Purana.
Yeah. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Neeta Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It
Yes.
says Rupa Goswami stated that the devotional service is transcendental to all material consideration and that is not limited to any particular country, class, society, or circumstances. It also says anyone who is a pure Vaishnava is situated transcendentally and therefore the highest qualification in the material world, namely to be the modes of goodness, can also achieve this position. And the examples are from Padma Purana, King Dilipa, and he says everyone has a right to take bath early in the month of Magha, that is the December and January. So similarly, there is an example from Skanda and Kashikan, that Mayur Dhwaja. So any Shudra can be initiated as a Vaishnava. And it also says there's a Kasa, this is a bell metal, which can be turned with the help of the mercury, it can be changed into gold. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Now, these are the qualifications that is spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and other devotees, and here in scriptures. If you see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu given the opportunity to perform devotional service to everyone. Patra, apatra, na dekhe and held. That means there is anybody can take, whoever interested, whoever wants, everyone can come to Krishna consciousness. There is no restriction. Everyone can take to Krishna consciousness. Only thing is the person should be ready to follow the principles. One has to serve the Lord throughout his life and make his life perfect. Haridas Thakur, even though he has born in a Muslim family, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told he is the Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. So the birth is not a problem. In whatever situation a person may be, he can take to Krishna consciousness. Continuing further. Those who would like to read can raise their hand. Puja Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare.
Purified Vaishnava, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered that Prithivite all over the world, as many towns and villages are there, my name will be established there. So we are trying to do that. So his name should be established. It does not mean that they should remain as Yavanas or Mishas and Michas. And simply they should know Lord Chaitanya. No, actually the fact is that everyone should be elevated to the position of Vaishnava, purified Vaishnava, the nectar of devotion, Vrindavana, November 6, 1972. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So everyone should be taken to Krishna consciousness without any discrimination. Everyone should be given the opportunity. So here is the shloka. Yatha kanchanatvam yati kamsam rasa vidhanataha tatha diksha vidhanena dvijattam jayate nrina. Any person who is properly initiated into the Vaishnava cult certainly becomes a Brahmana, as much as the metal known as kamsa, bell metal, is turned into gold by the mixture of mercury. So this metallurgical technique is unknown to us now. Otherwise, every bell metal we can convert into gold. That is not known to us. If we knowing, then we can make a lot of money. The Prabhupada is using the analogy here for saying that anybody can be made into Vaishnavas. If you see the Western devotees, they had no qualification, in the sense they were living a life of hippies in the beginning, but they all became happy and they came to the level of taking sannyasa in the Vaishnava cult. So that is the achievement, or that is the greatness of devotional service. Anybody can take advantage of it. Lata Mataji. Please unmute yourself. Okay, Anu Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, thank you. Even if circumstantially there is some fall down, the Vaishnava need have nothing to do with the Prayaschitta. One who has taken to Bhakti, the devotional service of the Lord, need have nothing to do with karma or jnana. Nectar of Devotion, page 49. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. So the Prayaschitta means if we are performing any yajna or tapasya, the sacrifices or penance, if you perform any mistake, then you have to take punishment for that. There is some any activity, any yajna means anything that you perform for pleasing the Lord. That is called yajna. So by performing that puja or yajna, if you make any mistake, then there is prayaschitta. But for performing devotional service, for example, chanting the holy name of the Lord, there are many namaparadas that happens. So there is no separate prayaschitta for that. What is a prayaschitta? Chanting more holy name. You continue to chant more and more. You continue to perform your devotional service. Then that itself will take care of the aparadas or the whatever the mistakes that we have done. There is nothing to do with the prayaschitta, like people do so many types of penances they undergo just for getting rid of the mistakes that they have done during the services or during the sacrifices. So such kind of things are not necessary. You don't have to search for anything else. just take the shelter of, take to the holy name, the shelter of the holy name, and you can advance. Anu Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
If by chance or mistake he does something which is forbidden, there is no need for him to perform any purificatory ceremonies. Because the Lord is situated within his heart, he takes compassion for the devotee's accidental mistake and corrects him from within. Nectar of Devotion, page 52. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So the Lord is present in each and every person's heart. He will take care of him, because we have taken to the personal service of the Lord. This devotional service is like a personal service. If you are doing any other kind of karma yoga, jnana yoga, or dhyana yoga, this is, you are performing the spiritual activity on your strength. You are depending on your strength. That is called Markata Kishora Nyaya and Marjala Kishora Nyaya. Markata Kishora Nyaya means a monkey, when it is the child monkey, it has to hold its mother firmly. If it doesn't hold, it will fall down. But the Markata, the Marjala, the cat, the mother is holding the kitten, mother cat. It is not, the kitten don't have to do anything. It just have to be there. Similarly, in devotional service, the Lord is delivering us. We are only taking shelter of him. We are taking the shelter of the holy name, the shelter of the devotees. It is not by our strength we get liberated from the material world. It is by the mercy of the devotees and the mercy of the Lord we get liberated. But in case of other methods, especially the dhyana yoga, ashtanga yoga, the person has to perform so many types of yogasana, and the pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, all these things, where the person's effort is much more as compared to devotional service, and it is very difficult to perform also. But here in devotional service, even by chance or mistake, if a person commits some mistake, then the Lord will protect him. It doesn't mean that we should intentionally create or make mistakes, but if we are unknowingly, accidentally, if we make mistake, then the Lord will he will excuse and he will save us from fall down. So in this chapter 4, chapter 3, 4, and 5, these are the three chapters we have seen today. Here you can see the evidences for saying that how the liberation, the devotion to Krishna is more than the liberation. The page number 33 itself, eligibility of the candidates, the chapter number 3, in my book it is 33. It starts with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying in Shikshashtaka, that is, Nadhanam, Najanam, Nasundarim, Kavitam va Jagadisha Kamaye, Mama Janmani, Janmanishware, Bhavatad Bhakti Rahaitu Kitvai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Mama Janmani, Janmanishware, life after life, I want to serve you. That means the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is saying that the devotee doesn't even look for liberation. Life after life, he is ready to serve the Lord. So the liberation has become very small. Even Bilomangal Thakur says in the second next paragraph, you can see there, Mukti Swayam Mukutanjalihi Sevatyasma. A person who performs devotional service, the liberation, the Mukti Devi, she will come and holding the hand, she will ask, do you want Mukti? Like that. That means when you are performing Bhakti, the devotee doesn't even care for the liberation. And even Kapila Deva has advised his mother Devahuti, that is explained in the third paragraph. So like that, in the third chapter, there are 7 instances from Srimad Bhagavatam and other literatures, other Puranas, and Rupa Goswami also has given the remarks here. And the chapter 4, it is full of evidences from Srimad Bhagavatam and other chapters, other literatures. So totally there are 29 evidences in chapter 3 and 4 to say that the bhakti is more than the liberation or mukti. So we have come to the end of this chapter in this lesson. Whatever we have studied today, explain the eligibility for accepting, practicing, and advancing in Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, and discussed ISKCON's practice of claiming members from all sections of the Western countries. That is, irrespective of their caste or birth or country to which they belong, in relation to principles established by Srila Rupa Goswami, and explain the independent nature of pure devotional service with reference to the evidences given in chapter number 5. Finally, Puja Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
My dear Uddhava, any person who takes shelter of me in complete surrender and follows my instructions, giving up all occupational duties, is to be considered the first-class man. By the one stroke of devotional service, if someone gives up all obligations and simply surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is no longer a debtor, nor obliged to any other source of benefit. The Nectar of Devotion, page 51. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So with this, we have come to the conclusion of this today's chapter. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand and ask the question. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Anu Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have a very question. Prabhuji, when does person go to Vaikuntha and when does one go to Goloka? Like Bhishma, he went to Vaikuntha. And you said Kanishka Adhikaris also, they go to Vaikuntha. The 4 Kumaras, if they also, did they go to, but Bhishma, if he went to Vaikuntha, Prabhuji, he was a brahmachari. What would he do with opulences? 4 Kumaras also, and others, okay, they were needing something. But 4 Kumaras also, did they go to Vaikuntha? What will they do with the opulences? Even Bhishma, what will he do?
Okay, Mataji. So Kanishta will not go to Vaikuntha. Kanishta is the beginning stage where the person begins his devotion service. They will not remain as Kanishta. They will advance, because when the Gajendra saw the Lord face to face, he is no more a Kanishta. Or when the Kumaras, they had the opportunity to have the fragrance of Tulasi from the lotus feet of the Lord, they are no more Kanishta. So only a person who has completely liberated from the material contamination, he can go to, he can get liberated, or he can go back to Godhead. So one has to come to the Uttamadhikari level if you want to go back to Godhead. Now, coming to the another point, Bhishma is a brahmachari. Bhishma is a brahmachari when he was Bhishma. In his earlier life, he is a Vasu. He had a wife. That story you can see in Mahabharata. What is the reason he took a birth as Bhishma or Devavrata? It is he stole a cow from Vasishta. That is also to present to his wife only. So because of that, he had to come here. And yeah, it's a long story. So you don't think that what brahmachari will do after going to Vaikuntha. And male and female things also different. It is not same here. This male and female, what we see in this material body, it doesn't apply to the soul. In Vaikuntha, everyone is a servant of the Lord. And in Goloka and Vaikuntha, what is the difference? That if you're asking, in Goloka, we have different rasa. The Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhurya, it is possible in Goloka. In Vaikuntha, it is the Dasya, especially the Dasya of the Lord, the Lakshmi Narayana worship, what we are seeing. We are completely surrendering to the Lord and we are servants of the Lord. That is the mood in Vaikuntha and people are happy in that. So what will they do with the opulence. We are not going there to enjoy the opulence. Opulence is there to serve the Lord. So for serving the Lord, the opulence can be used by any devotee. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Akhila Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
See, you told like renunciation, that is vairagya will not affect, like it is in the, like it bhakti, it is not, it no won't, it's bhakti. How it is means, Prabhuji in 12th chapter we will come to know, no? Samaha shatraucha mitrecha, tataha manapa manayo, Shri Krishna sukhadukeshu, samaha sangha vivarjita. Then tulya ninda stutirmavni, santushto yena kenachit, aniketa stiramati, bhakti manni triyonara. So any ups and downs, any honor, dishonor, if person remains unaffected with all these things, what we call Jivan Mukti stage. Yeah, I agree. Heart will be hard and no compassion. But the people like somewhat bhakti, not such a good one, but it aids bhakti somewhat, I feel.
Yeah, your question, Mataji?
That's what. Vairagya, I think it aids bhakti, Guruji. You told like it won't aid. Like it favors bhakti, I mean to say.
No. When you become too much vairagya, the vairagya, when the heart becomes very hard, the person will not feel compassion for the people. You take the example of those who go to Himalaya and they perform Ashtanga Yoga. And the people who stay among the people and they try to deliver them. So who is compassionate there and where the vairagya is visible more? It is exactly opposite. The person who goes to Himalaya and he performs his Ashtanga Yoga, he looks very renounced person. Vairagya is very much visible there. But the person who is living among the people and who is trying to deliver them by giving them devotional service, he may not look like a very renounced person, because that renouncing aspect may not be visible with him, but the compassion is very much visible. So if you're having devotion, the vairagya without devotion to the Lord, then the person becomes very hard-hearted and he will not have any compassion for the people who are fallen. Rather, they will be only interested in their personal deliverance, which is not wrong, it is told here, but it is not conducive for bhakti. Krishna wants to see that, as Krishna told in Bhagavad Gita, one who preaches the message of Bhagavad Gita, he is the most dear to me. That means we have to give this bhakti to others, and we should become, first we have to make our life perfect. Bharata Bhumita Janma Hoila Yara, Janma Sartaka Kari Karo Paropakara. First you learn this and you teach to others. Help them. That is better than going away from the entire people and performing some. And also there is no practical facing of the problem. When you go to forest, you are alone. Nobody is there to disturb you. So you will be peaceful. But when you are among the people, then your real temper will be tested. When people come to you, when they speak, how do you behave? Because in Vaikuntha, we are not going to live there alone. We are going to serve the Lord. Serving the Lord is not also alone. We are serving the Lord along with other people also. So if you are having any trouble there, then you are unfit for them. But when you are among the devotees, within this world, among the people together, if you are practicing devotional service, then you are the most suitable person to serve the Lord in Vaikuntha. So in that case, the vairagya is not the main term, and the varnashrama, the vairagya, and jnana, these three are not needed for bhakti, frankly speaking. The devotion itself can take us back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Okay, if there are no more questions, then we will end today. We'll continue in the next class, the lesson number 6. I thank all the devotees for coming to the today's session and actively participating in the discussions. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai.